Just about all the tools that I own are battery powered, but what about battery powered sanders? The least expensive brand we'll be testing is $35 and the most expensive, $150. Let's see which brand is the best. In the first test, we'll see which sander removes the most wood. We'll see which sander maintains the best grip on the sandpaper. We'll also see which sander does the best job at collecting dust. We'll also compare handle vibration. At a price of only $35, the least expensive brand we'll be testing is made by Bauer and sold at Harbor Freight. It has a 3mm orbit. The Bauer is heavy duty guaranteed for 90 days. 10,000 orbits per minute. Industrial fan-cooled motor with sealed bearings. Onboard dust collection ensures clean workspace. We're going to test that. I'll be using 4Ah batteries for most of the brands. The Bauer only makes a 5 or 3Ah battery, so I'll be using the 5Ah. The Bauer is made in China. The Bauer weighs 1,044 grams. The sander is 24 inches from the sound meter. The Bauer is right at 85.6 decibels. To compare the sanders, I'll be using some Diablo 60 grit sandpaper. The holes in the sandpaper are aligned with the holes in the sander. To test the sanders, let's start off with a piece of oak which has a Janka hardness rating of 1300. I've placed a dust particle counter about 18 inches from the test piece so we can see how much dust is getting into the air. We'll start off with 5 pounds now, and we'll try 7.5 and 10 pounds later in the video. We'll see how much wood the Bauer can remove in 5 minutes. Random orbital sanders can sometimes cause quite a bit of gyroscopic wobble, making them very difficult to manage. And the Bauer actually doesn't require too much user input to guide the sander. At 4 minutes into the test, there are 6,600 small and 1,700 large wood particles per 0.1 cubic feet. So the air quality isn't too good. And the dust bag started out at 44 grams and now it weighs 52. So approximately 8 grams of dust. And the test piece started out at 662 grams and now weighs 654. So the Bauer removed 8 grams of wood. So the filter actually caught most of the dust, but a small amount of dust did escape from a couple areas of the sander. At a price of $45 or just $10 more than the Bauer is this Ryobi brand. 10,000 orbits per minute for a smooth, swirl-free finish. Onboard dust collection bag ensures a clean workspace. Up to 40 minutes of use with the 4Ah battery. 3-year manufacturer's warranty. Palm grip design increases user comfort during extended use. Hook and loop accessory fastening system for added convenience. Made in China. Ryobi batteries are pretty large. To allow the battery to fit into the north and south direction, the sander is about 2 inches taller than the Bauer. The Ryobi weighs 1,086 grams. The Ryobi is a little bit less noisy compared to the Bauer at 84 decibels. And the amount of gyroscopic wobble seems about the same as the Bauer. And the Ryobi seems to be removing wood a lot faster compared to the Bauer. At 4 minutes into the test, the dust count for the Ryobi is lower than the Bauer at 5,600 small and 1,500 large particles. The dust bag started out at 46 grams and now it weighs 58. The test piece for the Ryobi started out at 688 grams and now it weighs 676. So the Ryobi removed 12 grams or 50% more wood compared to the Bauer. Very impressive. So the Ryobi gathered most of the wood dust. At a price of $52 is this Craftsman brand. 3-year limited warranty. The Bauer and Ryobi offer 10,000 orbits per minute. The Craftsman, 12,000. Dust sealed switch provides added durability. It claims to have a high-performance dust collection system. Low profile and lightweight for added control and vibration reduction. We're going to test that. 3-year limited warranty. Made in China. The Craftsman is the lightest yet at 950 grams. The Craftsman makes the least amount of noise yet at 82.7 decibels. Compared to the Bauer and the Ryobi, the Craftsman is pretty squirrely and wants to dance around. However, it does seem to be removing material very quickly. And all the dancing around is stirring up quite a bit of dust. 8,200 small and 1,050 large particles, which is the most dust yet. And the dust bag started out at 70 grams and now it weighs 80, so 10 grams of dust. The test piece started out at 692 grams and now it weighs 678. So the Craftsman moves into the lead at 14 grams of wood removed, but the dust bag came up 4 grams short on the wood dust. At a price of $60 for the battery, the charger, and the tool is this Black & Decker brand. The kit comes with a 1.5Ah battery, but I'll be using a 4Ah battery for the testing. Palm grip design increases user comfort during extended use. Hook and loop accessory fastening system for added convenience. Compact and easy to maneuver design. Made in China. The Black & Decker is the lightest yet at 890 grams. The Black & Decker is just as loud as the Bauer at 85.6 decibels. Compared to the previous sanders, the sanding disc on the Black & Decker is spinning clockwise a lot faster. However, the Black & Decker is a lot less squirrely compared to the Craftsman. And at 4 minutes, the fast spinning sanding disc is spraying out a lot of dust and the number is rising quickly. 9,700 small and 1,250 large particles, which is the most dust yet. And the Black & Decker's dust bag started out at 28 grams and only gathered 6 grams of dust. So the dust bag left 2 grams of dust outside the bag. And the test piece started out at 696 grams and now it weighs 688. So the Black & Decker removed 8 grams of wood and now it's in a 2-way tie with the Bauer. At a price of $65 is this Ridgid brand. The Ridgid comes with a lifetime warranty. It claims to have the industry's best dust collection. We're going to test that. Variable speed dial. Dust sealed switch increases the longevity of the tool. Variable speed from 7,000 to 11,000 RPM. Up to 60 minutes of runtime. Soft start and brake pad helps prevent gouges on work surfaces. The Ridgid is made in Vietnam. The Ridgid's the heaviest yet at 1,320 grams. And the Ridgid is really loud at 91.4 decibels. And the Ridgid is by far the most squirrely sander yet and requires a lot of supervision. Even though the Ridgid is doing a lot of dancing, the dust count is actually a little bit lower than average at 6,400 small and 850 large particles after 4 minutes. And the dust bag started out at 68 grams and only gathered 4 grams of dust. The test piece started out at 708 grams and is 8 grams lighter at 700. So the Ridgid left 4 grams of dust outside the dust bag. At a price of $78 is this Kobalt brand. All the previous brands use brushed motors. The Kobalt uses a brushless. Up to 11,000 orbits per minute. The Kobalt uses a 24-volt system. It claims to offer up to 3.6 times the run time. It claims their motor life is up to 10 times longer. It uses a low vibration system. I'll be testing the Kobalt in the highest setting of 6. The Kobalt is made in China. The Kobalt weighs 1,144 grams. The brushless Kobalt is the quietest yet at 79.9 decibels. And the Kobalt seems a lot easier to manage than the Ridgid and requires a little bit less user input. The Kobalt is doing a decent job of keeping the dust in check at 6,900 small and 1,050 large particles. The Kobalt's dust bag gathered 12 grams of dust. The test piece started out at 692 grams and lost 14 grams of weight. So the Kobalt and the Craftsman are in a two-way tie for the most wood removed. And the Kobalt only left 2 grams of dust outside the bag. At a price of $90 for the battery, the charger, and the tool is this MechanicAnts brand. Comes with a 4 amp hour battery. Built-in brushless motor ensures the electric sander 5 times longer service life, between 8 and 12,000 orbits per minute. 20% higher sanding efficiency than brush sanders. Includes an anti-vibration design. 3-year warranty. It's a 2-step process to power on the sander. Once the switch is placed in the run position, the speed selection switch has to be activated. Soft start design reduces startup torque to ease into running. The MechanicAnts is made in China. The MechanicAnt weighs 1,120 grams, and the MechanicAnt is right at 80.5 decibels. And the MechanicAnt lunges back and forth at times, making it difficult to manage. And the MechanicAnt is blowing wood dust everywhere, 7,400 small and 1,800 large particles. And MechanicAnt's dust bag started out at 84 grams and it only collected 2 grams of dust. And the test piece started out at 746 grams and is down to 732 grams for a total loss of 14 grams. So the MechanicAnt only caught 2 grams of dust and left 12 grams outside the bag. At a price of $95 is this Makita brand. Hook and loop accessory fastening system for added convenience. Compact and easy to maneuver design. Includes a 3-year limited warranty. Up to 11,000 orbits per minute. The Makita is made in China. The Makita weighs 1,044 grams. And the Makita makes less noise than average at 80 decibels. And the Makita definitely seems like the easiest sander to manage so far, requiring very little user input. After a minute of time, there's quite a bit of dust that's collected on the lower part of the sander. And the dust counter is getting pretty excited at 8,100 small and 1,950 large particles. And the Makita's dust bag started out at 64 grams and collected 8 grams of wood dust. And the test piece started out at 706 grams and is down 10 grams to 696. So the Makita's dust bag left 2 grams outside the bag. At a price of $99 is this Milwaukee brand. The orbit diameter is 3/32 of an inch. High performance motor provides corded power. Includes a universal hose adapter. More material removed per charge. Up to 12,000 orbits per minute. The Milwaukee is made in China. The Milwaukee weighs 1,114 grams. And the Milwaukee is pretty loud at 88.6 decibels. The Milwaukee likes to zigzag back and forth, but it's still pretty easy to manage. And there's quite a bit of dust with the Milwaukee at 8,150 small and 1,100 large particles. And the dust box on the Milwaukee started out at 98 grams and it collected 12 grams of dust. The test piece started out at 700 grams and it now weighs 688. So the Milwaukee did gather most of the dust. At a price of $100 is this WORX brand. Unlike the other brands, the WORX is a 5-in-1 multi-sander. The sander does include a random orbit mode that oscillates and rotates for maximum material removal. The kit comes with a 2 amp hour battery charger, a quarter sheet finishing mode attachment, a detail, finger, and contour sanding attachment, variable speed for best performance in a variety of materials. Up to 10,000 orbits per minute. The orbit diameter is 2.5 millimeters. The WORX comes with a 2-year warranty. The WORX is made in China. The WORX weighs 1,172 grams. And the WORX makes the least amount of noise yet at 77.9 decibels. and the WORX is just as easy to manage as most of the other brands. And the sanding wheel is rotating clockwise at a pretty fast pace, causing quite a bit of dust. And the particle counter is on the verge of freaking out with a small particle count of 14,000 and a large count of 4,750. Holy cow! And the dust bag for the WORX started out at 30 grams and it only collected 4 grams of dust. And the test piece went from 694 to 688 for a total loss of 6 grams. At a price of $129 is this Bosch brand. 6 to 10,000 orbits per minute. Specially designed palm grip for maximum tool control. The Bosch comes with a 3-year warranty. The Bosch has a soft start system. The Bosch is made in China. The Bosch weighs 1,090 grams. The Bosch is relatively quiet at 79.1 decibels. And the Bosch is very easy to manage, just about the same as the Makita. At the start of the test, the particle count was around 2,100 small and 280 large. After 4 minutes of use, the Bosch dust count is actually dropping 1,600 small and 160 large particles. Very impressive. The Bosch is doing a far better job than all the other brands at collecting wood dust. The dust bag on the Bosch started out at 68 grams and it collected 10 grams of dust. And the test piece started out at 680 and it's down 10 grams to 670. So the dust bag collected nearly all the dust. At a price of $149, the most expensive brand we'll be testing is made by DeWalt. The DeWalt includes a brushless motor, up to 12,000 orbits per minute. The orbit diameter is 3/32 of an inch or 2.6 millimeters. Low profile height allows user to get close to the work surface. One hand locking dust bag. The DeWalt is made in Mexico. Instead of using a soft start system like some of the other brands, the guaranteed tough DeWalt uses a hard start. And the DeWalt is the lightest yet at only 876 grams. 83.9 decibels for the DeWalt. And the DeWalt takes a little bit more effort to manage compared to the Bosch. After 4 minutes, the particle count is at 5,100 small and 750 large particles, which is the second best in the showdown. And the dust bag started out at 68 grams and it gathered 12 grams of dust. And the test piece started out at 680 grams and it now weighs 668 for a total loss of 12 grams. With 5 pounds of downward pressure on top of the sanders, the Craftsman, the Kobalt, and the MechanicAnts removed the most wood at 14 grams. The Ryobi, Milwaukee, and DeWalt performed nearly as well at 12 grams. According to the weight scale, the Bauer, Ryobi, Milwaukee, Bosch, and DeWalt collected very close to 100% of the wood dust that they generated. The particle counter provides great information on air quality, and the Bosch dominated the competition at only 1,600 small particles. DeWalt finished in a distant second at 5,100, Ryobi 5,600, Ridgid 6,400, and Bauer 6,600. Before we test the sanders with 7.5 pounds of downward pressure, let's see which sander has the strongest hook and loop setup. After I attach the sandpaper to the sander, I'll place 10 pounds of weight on top of the sander for just a few seconds. I'll then peel back just enough sandpaper to gain a grip on it with a spring clamp. 2,468 grams for the Bauer, which is around 5 pounds. I'll use a new piece of sandpaper for each brand. At 1,818 grams, the Ryobi didn't have quite as good of a grip compared to the Bauer. And the Craftsman moves into the lead with a very impressive 3,516 grams of pressure. And the Black & Decker performed well at 2,964 grams. And the Ridgid moves into second place behind the Craftsman at 3,226 grams. The Kobalt performed about the same as the Ridgid at 3,200 grams. And the MechanicAnts gave up early at 1,916 grams. And the Makita performed well at 2,594 grams. The Milwaukee performed a little bit better than the Makita at 2,732 grams. And the WORX is below average at 1,712 grams. And the Bosch moves into second place behind the Craftsman at 3,284 grams. The DeWalt gave up a little bit early at 1,830 grams. So the Craftsman came out on top at 3,516 grams, but the Bosch also performed very well at 3,284. The Ridgid finished in third place at 3,226 grams, Kobalt 3,200, and Black & Decker 2,964 grams. Let's test tool vibration next. And the Bauer performed well at only 16 millimeters per second squared. The Ryobi vibrates more than the Bauer at 29. And the Craftsman vibrates the most yet at 60. The Black & Decker is off the charts at 160. The Ridgid vibrates a lot at 116. The Kobalt is about the same as the Ryobi at 30. The MechanicAnts performed well at 38. The Makita moves into second place at 19. The Milwaukee is the same as the MechanicAnts at 38. The WORX is about average at 46. And the Bosch performed very well at 17. The DeWalt vibrates quite a bit at 93. The Bauer, Bosch, and Makita all performed extremely well with very little tool vibration. The Ryobi and the Kobalt also performed very well in this category of testing. The batteries are fully charged and all the sanders have new 60 grit sandpaper. Let's see how the sanders perform at 7.5 pounds. And the Bauer sander remains fairly easy to manage with the extra weight. And the test piece went from 654 to 640 grams, so 14 grams at 7.5 pounds is a big improvement compared to only 5 pounds. And the Ryobi is also pretty easy to manage at 7.5 pounds. The test piece started out at 600 676 grams and is now 18 grams lighter at 658. At 7.5 pounds, I needed both hands on the Craftsman to maintain control. A lot of darting back and forth, and all the moving around seems to have hurt the Craftsman's performance. Only 10 grams. The Black & Decker is still pretty easy to manage at 7.5 pounds. And the Black & Decker started out at 688 grams and is now at 668 for a total loss of 20 grams, the best yet. And the Ridgid brand is even more squirrely at 7.5 pounds. The Ridgid test piece started out at 700 grams and is now at 684 for a total loss of 16 grams. And the Kobalt remains pretty easy to manage with just one hand. And the Kobalt test piece started out at 678 grams and is now down 18 grams at 660. The MechanicAnts still lunges occasionally, but it's a lot easier to manage compared to the Ridgid. And the test piece for the MechanicAnts started off at 732 and it shaved off 16 grams this time. The Makita remains very smooth and easy to manage with the extra downward pressure. The test piece started off at 696 and it's only down 10 grams to 686. The Milwaukee performed very well at 7.5 pounds of downward pressure, and the Milwaukee test piece went from 688 to 670, shaving off 18 grams. And the WORX is a little more squirrely with the extra weight on board. The test piece dropped 14 grams, going from 688 to 674 grams. And the Bosch remains very easy to control even with the extra weight. The test piece started off at 670 grams and is now down to 654, so 16 grams of loss. The DeWalt takes a little bit more effort to manage than the Bosch, but it's still pretty easy to manage. The DeWalt really benefited from the extra weight, going from 668 to 650 grams, so 18 grams total. Nearly all the brands improved with the extra 2.5 pounds of weight. So let's go ahead and add 2.5 pounds more for a total of 10 pounds. With the extra downward force, most of the sanders required more user input. The Craftsman in particular took quite a bit more effort. However, the Ridgid was by far the most challenging to manage. The Kobalt, Makita, Milwaukee, and the Bosch seemed very stable at 10 pounds. So with 10 pounds of downward pressure, the Kobalt came out on top at 22 grams. The DeWalt did almost as well at 20, MechanicAnts, Milwaukee, Craftsman, and Black & Decker, 18 grams. So taking the best performance for each brand at 5, 7.5, or 10 pounds, the Kobalt performed the best at 22 grams. The DeWalt and the Black & Decker tied for second at 20 grams. So which sander is the best? The Bosch came out on top with an average finish at 2.4. I like just about everything about the Bosch except for it doesn't work quite as fast as many of the other brands. On the other hand, the Kobalt is heavier, noisier, vibrates more, and doesn't gather as much dust, but it does remove material a lot faster than the Bosch. More importantly, it costs $50 less. If it's all about value, why not just go with the Bauer? At $35, it's a great value, especially if you already have the Bauer batteries. All the videos in this channel, including this one, are viewer suggested. So if you have a video idea, I hope you'll take time to leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching. Please take care, and I look forward to next time.